A Carl Junction organization is on a mission to ensure that no one goes hungry on Christmas or spends the holiday alone. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with the tradition that helps them do that.
Plus, when you're done with your Christmas tree, what should you do with it? Well, the city of Joplin's got a solution. Also, an Englishman is in custody after trespassing on the grounds of Windsor Castle. And the Pope delivers his annual Christmas message. We'll tell you what he prayed for.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
An organization in Carl Junction is continuing a tradition of bringing meals and company to anyone who may need it on Christmas. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky has how a community meal aims to make sure everyone can enjoy the holiday no matter their circumstances.
On Christmas, many across the 4 states may choose to gather with their family or loved ones to celebrate, but for some, that isn't an option. It's why Krista Asbel organized the Asbel Foundation's free community dinner 7 years ago.
7 years ago, my father-in-law passed away, and Christmas was just too hard for us to get together without him. And we wished that there was some place for us to go or serve or do something a little different, and we really wanted it to be something for everyone, not just people that were in need, but just people who maybe just didn't feel like cooking or were empty nesters. And so we wanted to provide that space for them and also provide a space for their people to give back to the community.
So on Christmas Day, Asbel and a team of volunteers serve the Carl Junction community.
We start preparing in November, and it actually goes off really well with all of our awesome volunteers that you see here. And you may notice that there's a lot more talking than eating going on, and that's because we figured out people really want a place for connection on Christmas. They want to feel that community connection and just be together and enjoy the holiday. And so fortunately, we can provide that with a hot meal.
One volunteer, Misha Honey, says it not only feels good to give back to her community, but to show her children the impact they can make as well.
It feels pretty good to be able to show my children that that Christmas and life in general isn't just about us or them. Being able to show them that there are people who need to feel that sense of family and don't always have somebody to come to their house or to go to somebody else's house. So I really enjoying my children being able to see that.
And with the lingering pandemic, it's something to bring the community closer together when being together has been a challenge.
I feel like it's even more important. I know last year we only did carry-out meals and to-go orders because we felt like people still needed it. It was still very important. And the same thing with this year. You know, we're fortunate to be able to do a dine-in option, but I feel like people, again, they really miss that connection. And so we're just so lucky to be able to have everyone gather together and feel connected on Christmas.
Asbel says the best part is knowing they're making a positive impact on the community's lives. In Carl Junction, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Now, food for the meal is donated by Woody's Smokehouse Barbecue as well as members of the community and relies entirely on volunteers. Well, many of you may still be rocking around the Christmas tree tonight, even this late. Some of you may already be thinking of how you get rid of this big tree in your living room. Well, the City of Joplin's got you covered. Starting tomorrow, you can drop off Christmas trees at 3 convenient locations. They're Humphrey Park on Utica Street in the Royal Heights neighborhood, McDonald Park at Glendale Road and Jackson Avenue. And they say if you go there, they ask that you place your trees in the southwest corner of the parking lot. And lastly, the Public Works Center at 1301 West 2nd Street. And of course, you need to remove all your decorations and place them near the sign that says Christmas Tree Drop-Off at one of the locations on your screen. The city will accept the trees through January the 31st. It did not feel like Christmas, though, at least in terms of the weather. Nick Kelly joining us.
Well, we kept things quiet on this Christmas Day, Chris, and not only that, the wind. It really died down compared to the windy day we had the other day. We kept this view from 7th and Rangeline quiet all Christmas Day long and all evening long, too. But we had a morning low of 50 degrees, but that was after we had midnight highs around 70. Not too far, believe it or not, from the record high of 72 set back 5 years ago on this Christmas Day. We are seeing more cloud cover stream in, though. We've been seeing that pick up throughout the course of the late evening hours so far, and that's actually due to the backside of the cold front. The same cold front that worked out through this morning is trying to come back as a warm front as we head into our Sunday. So that is going to mean a mild end to the holiday weekend once again, but we're dry overnight with temperatures around 44 in Joplin. Most of us still generally lower to middle 40s for the most part, but as we go throughout the course of the day, even with cloud cover building in and maybe some scattered showers in the afternoon for some, well, probably set another record with highs around 72, Chris, but we'll break down the rest of the week ahead of us here in a bit.
All right, Nick, thank you. A 19-year-old Englishman is in custody today after trespassing on the grounds of Windsor Castle. The Queen is spending Christmas at Windsor Castle, and while the man did enter the grounds, he didn't make it far, and that's thanks to tight security measures put in place. Now, according to police, the suspect is being held on suspicion of possession of an offensive weapon. Pope Francis delivered his Christmas message this morning at the Vatican. His Holiness prayed for an end to the pandemic, as well as calling for an end to global conflicts like the violence in Syria and new tensions in Ukraine. Pope also asked for support to those most affected by the pandemic, including women and children who are facing an increasing amount of abuse. A Christmas Day tragedy in eastern Pennsylvania claims 3 lives. Crews were called to the scene of a house fire Saturday morning in Quakertown, a suburb of Philadelphia. The police say 3 people, 41-year-old Eric King and his 2 sons, died in the blaze. King's wife and their other child were rescued from the house and hospitalized for burns and smoke inhalation. Now, the cause of the fire has yet to be determined, but officials say the lights on the family's Christmas tree may be to blame. A GoFundMe page has been set up for the King family. As of this afternoon, more than $163,000 has been raised. Santa Claus didn't have any travel-related problems this weekend, but that's not the case for millions of others around the world, as thousands of flights remained on land during the Christmas holiday season. John Lawrence reports.
If you're flying this holiday weekend, don't forget to pack your patience.
Make sure that your cell phone is charged so that you are getting those airline alerts in case anything changes. I'd recommend you bring snacks just in case lines are long and you're getting hungry.
More than 5,000 flights were scrapped worldwide this Christmas weekend.
Arrived here at the airport about 8:30 this morning for a 10 o'clock flight. And while standing in the long line for TSA, got a message that my flight was canceled.
Nearly 2,000 of those grounded flights were in the U.S., according to the FlightAware tracking website.
I think everyone's going to end up sleeping wasn't able to get a rental car. They're all sleeping at the airport tonight.
Some of the cancellations were caused by the threat of rough weather, especially in the Pacific Northwest. Also causing travel headaches, airline crew and staff calling out sick due to the Omicron surge.
The plan was to be there for Christmas Eve with the folks and dinner and all those kind of things. It happens though. It's not something that's in everyone's control.
Despite the setbacks and delays, some people were able to make it to their destination.
For me to be able to be here to share that with them, it's the best Christmas gift that I could get to.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Nearly 2.2 million people were screened nationally on Thursday, according to the TSA. And we take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Airman First Class William Hawley served in the Air Force during the Korean War, his hometown, Pittsburgh. And we're proud to recognize Airman First Class William Hawley, tonight's four-state hero. And remember, learn more about other heroes or nominate one of your own at any time. Just head over to our website, that's KOAMNewsNow.com. Still ahead on the KOAM News at 10, we're going to take a look back at the top international stories of 2021.
The Taliban makes a comeback, a volcano blows for months, and countries continue to struggle with COVID. I'm Ian Lee with the year's biggest moments overseas.
The battle against COVID-19 topped international headlines in 2021, and more fighting broke out in the Middle East. CBS's Ian Lee is in London with a look back at the stories that shaped the year.
Much of the world entered 2021 in lockdown as countries struggled to stop new strains of COVID-19. Israel led the vaccine race, and as millions across the globe rolled up their sleeves, restrictions began to lift. The Summer Olympics in Tokyo went on, but for the first time in history, no spectators were allowed. In China, international investigators looking for COVID-19's origin came up empty-handed. It was a summer of tensions in the Middle East. 11 days of fighting between Israel and militants in Gaza killed more than 250 people. North Korea vowed to build an unstoppable military, launching ballistic missiles from a submarine and a train. The Taliban returned to power in Afghanistan after 20 years. Hundreds of Americans and Afghan civilians face chaotic evacuations. A suicide bomb at the Kabul airport during the final pullout killed at least 180 people, including 13 American service members. Terror struck Britain when an ISIS-inspired attacker stabbed a lawmaker to death at a church in England. A volcano unleashed spectacular rivers of lava on the Spanish island of La Palma for months, swallowing up more than 2,000 homes and evacuating thousands of people. After 15 days of marathon talks in Scotland, diplomats from nearly 200 countries struck a major agreement to intensify global efforts to fight climate change. In Rome, 85-year-old Pope Francis spent 10 days in the hospital for intestinal surgery. The pontiff recovered and made several international visits across Europe and the Middle East. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan shocked the royal family, giving a bombshell interview to Oprah and accusing someone in the family of questioning what color their baby's skin would be. Their second child, Lilibet, was born in the summer. Britain said farewell to Queen Elizabeth's husband of 73 years, Prince Pileup. The 99-year-old was laid to rest at Windsor Castle. Later in the year, the Queen had a health scare, skipping several key events on doctor's orders. But the 95-year-old was back at work after several weeks and looking forward to ringing in 2022 with her family. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
In 2022, Queen Elizabeth will celebrate her Platinum Jubilee, marking 70 years on the British throne. And to put that in perspective, that means that she's been in the throne for just 1 year longer than KOAM TV has been on the air. Later on the KOAM News at 10, we're going to have some pumpkin pie and we'll do some caroling.
But first, we are looking at a mild end to the weekend, and we'll see how the final days of 2021 are shaping up when we come back. Thankfully, all was quiet. Certainly, the breeze was a lot quieter on this Christmas day, but we actually had a pretty mild Christmas. We'll break down the numbers as we roll along here, but first, a look outside. Our last look at things from Indigo Sky Casino and Resort outside of Seneca, Missouri. We kept this view nice and quiet all day. The only activity we can find on the camera here is the parking lot trying to fill up a little bit. So some of you out and about on this Christmas night. But this has not felt like the typical Christmas whatsoever, especially shattering the record high on Christmas Eve the other day with highs around 75 degrees. We had midnight highs around 72 degrees shy of the 72 record we set, if you remember, 5 Christmases ago back in 2016. But thankfully the cold front allowed us to drop back into the middle 50s this morning. And then afternoon temperatures, as advertised, we at least went back to around 63, 64 degrees. Looking quiet for 7th and range line still, and we'll throw on the numbers at the top of the 10 o'clock hour. 45 and jumping right now with an east breeze at 3. The humidity starting to climb back up a little bit at 82%. But as far as the rest of the region goes, kind of a contrast in temperatures. We have 38 in Iola, 39 in Nevada, 48 in Neosho. Everybody else right in between the two. But I think this is primarily where temperatures are going to level out and hold as we go throughout the course of the night. Even though we had a much lighter breeze throughout the day, staying calm out there right now. And normally this would allow temperatures to drop off quite a bit. However, after we had some returning sunshine, which was actually nice to see today, plenty of cloud cover streaming in from the west with more developing out across western Kansas and western parts of Oklahoma. That's actually because the cold front that came through this morning is actually trying to come back as a warm front. In fact, it will do so as we go throughout the day tomorrow, which means we could break another record high tomorrow. Wait until you see how the numbers stack up for tomorrow. In the short term, though, upstairs, not only will that front keep us mostly cloudy for tomorrow, but this upper wave coming out of Colorado might want to throw a few showers into the mix as we wrap up the holiday weekend tomorrow. So let's time everything out with the future track forecast. You can see the cloud cover, pretty much the main rule of thumb as we go throughout the overnight. And you can see how temperatures mainly hold steady. Most of us maybe as cold as 38 to 40 degrees. Most of us, though, lower to middle 40s to start the morning out. But even with mostly cloudy skies throughout the day tomorrow, that warm front lifts on through. As it does, we'll watch for maybe a few showers in our northern counties during the afternoon and maybe as late as tomorrow evening. But look at how warm it gets for tomorrow. The record high for Joplin tomorrow is 71 degrees. We'll go from 44 in the morning, 67 by noon. I think we might break that record tomorrow with highs around 72 degrees. Any slight chances we have for a few showers tomorrow evening's out of here by about 9 or 10 o'clock. And we're dry as we go into Monday, a little bit cooler with temperatures back near 60. But the rest of 2021 looks a bit interesting. Sticking with Doug's pattern, we got a storm system coming in on Tuesday. That'll give us a good shot for rain and storms, primarily Tuesday morning, trying to linger into Tuesday afternoon. Then once that clears out, we're dry and temperatures back near normal. Finally, for Wednesday and Thursday. But here's a New Year's weekend. You can see that system coming out to the west. We might be dry for Friday, New Year's Eve, but we'll have another good system in here on New Year's Day with temperatures topping out around 63. That system could start as storms Saturday, but it could end as rain and even some snow, depending on how fast temperatures drop going into that Saturday night and Sunday. But another record breaker possible tomorrow, Chris, with highs near 72. We'll go 60 on Monday, 67 on Tuesday, and finally back into the mid-40s Wednesday and Thursday.
Nick, thank you. And thankfully, none of this here, but off to the northeast. Instead of a white Christmas, New Hampshire residents got a wintry mix of freezing rain and sleet, making for a very hazardous road conditions. New Hampshire State Police report having to respond to more than 100 accidents, including a 15-car pileup on the Everett Turnpike. Newport Police said numerous roads in their town are impassable because of the ice. State Police are advising drivers traveling late tonight or early tomorrow morning to do so with caution. Well, Sports Director Jacob Leonard's going to join us after the break, and we're going to take a look back at our 2021 Pigskin Preview predictions and find out where we were right and where we were wrong. Next.
We put out our annual Pigskin Preview every August, and in that, we have our predictions for the season. Now, this year was a tough year for predictions with COVID, schedule changes, new coaches, and just good teams all over the place. Like every year, we got some right and we got some wrong, and I have no problem admitting we whiffed hard on a few. We are about accountability here in the KOAM Sports Department, so here we go.
Where we were wrong.
We got the top 4 teams in the COC right, but we messed up the order bad. I thought Nixa would win it. They finished 3rd. I thought Carthage would finish 3rd, and they won it, going 9-0 in the regular season. We had Joplin 4th, and they finished 2nd behind the Tigers. We had Webb City 2nd, and they finished 4th. I don't really feel bad about that because they went on to win it all. It is what it is.
Where we were right.
I almost feel bad for taking credit for this because it was a no-brainer, but we had the Lamar Tigers going 9-0, and that's what they did. And not only that, it wasn't really close. Lamar won their regular season games by an average of 38 points per game. Tigers finished as the Class 2 state runner-up. They're 25-2 with a state title in their first 2 years under head coach Jared Beshore.
Where we were wrong.
The Girard Trojans. This team has been bouncing around 500 for years. Above 500, below 500, back above 500 again. We had them picked to go 5-3. They blew that out of the water. Girard finished the regular season with a perfect 8-0 record, their first undefeated season since 1999. The Trojans won a district title and a regional title, finishing the year with a 10-1 overall record.
Where we were right.
I thought the Aurora Hound Dogs would take another step forward, and that's what they did this season. We had them at 7-2, and they finished 7-2. After losing their season opener, the Hound Dogs ripped off 7 straight wins before falling to Nevada in the regular season finale. After that great regular season, their playoff run didn't last long because
where we were wrong.
The Seneca Indians beat them in the first round. Seneca is one of our biggest whiffs of the fall. We had them in our magazine at 2-7. They dunked on us and went 5-4 in their first season under head coach Cody Hilburn. And not only that, these guys turned it on in the playoffs, going on to win a district title and finished with an 8-5 overall record. Seneca, guys, we blew it, sorry.
Where we were right.
Galena finished 7-1 this year. That's right where we had them. They lost their season opener at Commerce, then went on a 7-game winning streak to end the regular season. Now, the Bulldogs did fall in the first round of the playoffs, but they're one of the most consistent programs in the area, going 41-10 the last 5 seasons.
Where we were wrong.
I knew the Parsons Vikings were going to be better in year 2 under Jeff Scheibe. Just didn't know they would be that much better. They were 3-6 last season. We picked them to go 4-4. They ended with a 6-2 record in the regular season. Now, Parsons went on to win a playoff game and finished 7-3 overall.
Where we were right.
Missouri Southern. I know you're thinking, you're going to take credit for picking them to go 3-8. A short answer, yeah. In their first season under head coach Atiba Bradley, the Lions went 3-8 as we predicted. Now that is significant because the last time they won 3 games was all the way back in 2014 when I couldn't even rent a car. Southern is headed in the right direction. They're fun to watch again, and they're going to continue to get better.
Where we were wrong.
Now, we had the Mcdonald County Mustangs in our magazine at 6-3. They ended up going 8-1 in the regular season, their best finish since the 60s. Now, this team was fun to watch. Their only loss in the regular season was to Lamar, and they finished the regular season on a 6-game winning streak. The Mustangs ended up playing for a district title and finished 10-2 overall, so we were wrong. And now, of course, there are plenty more where we're a little right or a little wrong. Those are the ones I felt stood out. Plus, can't stand here and talk all night, all right? What else do you want from me? We'll try again next year. We're back with more news after this.
Well, December 25th, it's not just for Christmas, it's also, this is one of my favorites, Pumpkin Pie Day. Now, you may think of pumpkin pie as mainly a Thanksgiving treat, but surely you've heard the line in the famous song, and I'm not going to sing it, but rocking around the Christmas tree, later we'll have some pumpkin pie and we'll do some caroling. Okay, I sang a little. Turns out pumpkin pie is also a traditional dessert on Christmas Day. Pumpkin pie dates way back to the early 17th century with the Pilgrims in New England, and it's become a favorite flavor for many seasoned products like coffee, ice cream, pancakes, and even beer. So enjoy a slice tonight after your holiday meal, and be sure to post a photo on social media and using that hashtag National Pumpkin Pie Day. My wife's grandmother makes the absolute best pumpkin pie I've ever had in my life.
So I'll take your word for it, but for me, I'm always an apple pie guy, and my aunt back home, she makes the best apple pie.
Apple pie is pretty good too. We're gonna have to swap pies here at some point. Quick check of that forecast.
All right, we're gonna stay mild for tomorrow with almost record warmth. Highs around 72, mostly cloudy skies, maybe a few showers in a few spots.
All right, Nick, thank you. It's our time for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Thanks for making us part of your night.